It has been an odd year to say the least. I have become a Christian for a couple of reasons. They are the three major factors that played a role in this are ayahuasca ceremony, cancer diagnosis, and existential crisis. They are all intertwined and connected, so bear with me as I go through the story. First of all, was it difficult for you to come out as an atheist if you are an atheist watching this? Was it difficult for you to admit this in front of your parents, friends, I don't know, rest of the family? For me, when I was very young, about 6 or 7, I confessed that I am an atheist to my parents. And it was a very difficult thing to do because I was the child who didn't accept my parents' indoctrination that they tried to put me through. Basically, they tried to force their beliefs upon me and I could not accept it. I could not accept the belief for the love of me, I just couldn't. And the way that it all played out is that they said that regardless of my stance, I need to go to church with them, I need to listen to the sermons, I need to listen to the prayers, and I need to be part of it, whether I like it or not. And as I'm just a kid, I cannot go out and not listen to them, right? Because I'm only 6 or 7 years old at the time. Well, things have changed quite a bit when I was about 16. I picked up, some balls and I was able to confront my parents about the whole situation, and I told them that I'm not gonna go to the church anymore. And they weren't able to convince me to go otherwise, and they weren't able to even boss me around anymore because I just refused to listen. It was very dramatic, and I'm not gonna get into details because I did something crazy to show them how serious I am. But more on that maybe in some other video when I'm more comfortable with sharing such story. But they gave up, they listened to me and they accepted me that I'm an atheist. Well, all of that would come to change when I turned 28. I decided to go on an ayahuasca ceremony when I was about that age, 16 or so. I was a teenager, I remember that specifically. And I remember running into ayahuasca, and the whole idea behind it is that it's a psychedelic drug that shows you the way of the world. It shows you something that you cannot see with normal vision. Basically, something beyond our scope of understanding. I was really thinking that going through such a ceremony, going through that would change my mind, and I really decided that at one point in time, when I'm older, I'm gonna do it. So an opportunity arrived when I was about 28 years old, when I decided, okay, it's time to do this, it's time to go through with it. I decided to do a little bit more research before going through it because I was afraid of what I might stumble upon, what might happen during this, so I was kind of prepared. What happened next is that I watched a documentary from Netflix called How to Change Your Mind. This documentary is very powerful. It shows you how psychedelics were used in the beginning and how they had been used in medicinal services, how they were used to treat patients, and later on how it was banned for certain reasons. However, ayahuasca itself is not dangerous to you, so you can use it. And bear in mind, I do not condone drugs and I do not recommend you do this, but it is something that I've gone through. Basically, I decided to go for it when I was prepared and ready with all the research that I did around the whole psychedelic. Finally, the day came and I did the ceremony and everything went perfectly good, and I was quite, let's just say, surprised by what I had seen. I thought that I had seen something greater than ourselves, something greater than what we can imagine. Basically, I thought that I saw heaven and that I saw hell. I really was convinced that my worldview was kind of shaken and I needed to re-examine it. But after coming back to real life, after realizing the truth that I was just, drugged and it was just brain chemicals being messed up in my brain, I couldn't really accept that as the truth of the world, as the truth of this life. So I went into research. I went into researching First the Buddhism, and I thought it was a religion, but it's more of a way of life. I realized that it's not it. Whatever it is that I felt on ayahuasca, the great love that I experienced, wasn't it. So I went on to research next. And what was closest to me was Christianity, but Catholic path. I thought maybe I can research this because I was raised in this. Maybe my parents were right all along. So I went on and I did some research, and as I did all of that reading and analyzing, I realized that Jesus might really be God, because the way he is presented and the way that he handled things and what he did during his lifetime and his resurrection and everything, it was so convincing and compelling to me that I was starting to kind of believe. But I still wasn't convinced fully, so I did continue researching that more and more as time went on, and not until this happened, not until I had basically been diagnosed with cancer, did I finally give up. Did I finally realize for myself that maybe this is the hope that I need, that this was basically the drop that spilled the glass, right? You know that saying, when another drops in the water glass and it spills over. So yeah, after cancer diagnosis, I had existential crisis. I was in a tight spot and I needed some hope. I needed some hope for the future. Maybe if I don't survive this, I need to know that I'm going to a better place. I was afraid of death. That's something that I didn't realize until that moment. I didn't realize that I was actually afraid of death until that point. I was young and I thought that maybe that couldn't touch me just yet. I had time to worry about that later. But as fate would come to have it, I had to face it earlier than expected. Well, the next thing that happened is very crucial. Basically, after realizing that Christianity is false, after realizing that it is all fake and it is all made up, I was finally free from the shackles of, the faith, the religion, the whole notion that God exists and is watching your every move and is judging your every little thing that you do. I was free from the burden of having all that over my mind, over myself. Long story short, I went back to atheism because I did a lot of research into religions, so I didn't stop at Christianity. I also researched some Islam, I also researched some Hinduism, so I do have some foundation now that's strong and it's not shakeable as it was before. Basically, I'm no longer afraid of death and I'm no longer afraid of God. If there is any God, as I'm not convinced right now, but if there is any God, I am simply gonna face him, face on, heads up, without any shame, but actually with pride, because I'm happy that I'm a human and I'm happy the way that I am. You can judge me all you want, but it's the fact. I don't really care that pride is a sin. I am prideful in a good way. You can have a bad connotation on it, but I think it's a positive word and it is good to be a pride person. Somebody who is proud of what they do, how they live, how they value life and all the intricacies of life itself. I have kind of steered off from the story that I wanted to tell you. Basically, coming out as an atheist now as the second time, for me it has been very, very easy. Because I am confident in who I am today, I am confidently standing in front of my parents, in front of my family, and I'm without any shadow of a doubt an atheist, full-on, full-fledged atheist. Let's say their feelings might get hurt because I'm going down a path that they didn't really want for me, but I know that what I'm doing and I'm happy and ready to face any consequences of my choice, of my decisions. When I talked to my wife about my change of belief, she was actually quite happy about it, because she herself wondered about my religious path and whether it is true or not, and it was very interesting conversation with her when let's say she thought that I felt something greater than ourselves, and she was very happy for me. But now that I came out as an atheist, she realized that everything that I felt was mostly because I was trying to convince myself most of all that it is true. However, I could not accept it anymore. Not the ayahuasca ceremony part, not the cancer part, not the existential crisis part. All of it was just fear of death and fear of God, which is unreasonable, and there's no need for you to be afraid of whatever is facing you or actually waiting for you next to face. You are good the way that you are. So whatever it is that you are struggling with, that you are afraid of, you can handle it. You just need to give yourself some credit, give yourself permission to overcome whatever it is that you need to overcome. More on that in the next videos that I talk about, because I'm gonna talk about not only debunking Christianity, not only about religion itself, but I'm gonna talk about confidence, I'm gonna talk about self-development and how important all of it is for you to grow to a certain level where you're gonna be confident not only talking to other people, but confidently facing yourself, confidently facing camera like I am today. And all of it combined is going to make you a person who is confident, not judgmental, and a decent person, a decent human being, somebody who you can be proud of to be. That's actually my goal for this channel now. Basically, I am still open to be convinced otherwise, to be convinced that there is a God. However, at current time we don't have any evidence to support that claim. So for now, I reject the idea of God, I reject the idea that there is something greater than us until proven otherwise. That's my stance, and that's my basically gist of it. Next, I wanna tell you about my encounter with my parents, now that I'm an atheist again. Surprisingly enough, they were both very, let's say, open to the idea and accepting of the idea that I'm an atheist now. It was very interesting to see the reaction that they had, especially my mother's reaction, because she is a staunch believer. She is somebody who is all about religion and all about beliefs. But when she heard my reasoning and when she heard what I'm saying, she actually accepted it and is okay with it. I don't know if she lied to me, I don't know if she's not able to face the truth of it, but she did seem okay to me at the point where I talked to her about it. My dad is more of a whatever kind of guy. He doesn't really care so much about it, so that's okay. And for the rest of the family, I don't even need to tell you. Basically, my family is a bunch of believers, and I think that my mother already shared the news with them, and nobody really better than I. They do judge me in a way, probably, I'm just assuming this, but they do judge me in a way where now I'm gonna go to hell because, hey, I rejected God, but nobody is commenting anything, nobody is saying anything so far, and I'm looking forward to hear what my aunt is gonna say when she comes over in about 2 months, cause she is an interesting aunt, she is an interesting person, and her character is to me very interesting. So when she asks me about it, when she tries to poke holes in my beliefs, it's gonna be interesting to say the least. That being said, now that I'm an atheist, I have the freedom to do whatever I want to do, however I wanna do it, and it's the same for this channel. Basically, I no longer have to fit the narrative of religious belief and religious dogma, but I can be myself. So from here on out, expect more videos that are coming from the heart, that are coming from the soul, if there is a soul, and basically me talking about whatever it is that I find interesting, and hopefully you do too. Because this channel is pointless if you are not interested in what I have to say. If you are interested though, if you like what I had to say today, please leave a like, subscribe, and share the video so that more people can be reached. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao!